Welcome back to another episode of Real Results with Coach Joe. I'm your host, Joe Villegas. This is the program where we help you to improve your health, increase your wealth, and live a more fulfilling life. And I'm extremely excited for my guest today. He is the VP of Business Development at LabSmarts and has an incredible passion for educating people on the importance of healthcare. My guest today is Brandon Drake. Brandon, welcome to the show, sir.
I'm grateful to be on the show. Can't wait to spread the wealth of health to those people who want to continually improve themselves. So thank you.
No doubt, man. That's what we're going to do. And I want to start off, Brandon, because I know you and I have been friends now for a little while, and we've talked extensively about healthcare and the importance of making sure folks understand that they're taking care of themselves, kind of from start to finish and everything they need to do. But I want to learn more, and I want to share with the viewers more about your story and how you got into the healthcare space. So why don't we start there and share that?
Yeah, so I actually started off in a different industry. I was actually in the IT industry, as a data migration specialist or whatnot. And that's what I went to school for, and systems analysis. And, just talking about that bores me because when I got into the corporate world, I was good at what I did, but I felt that there was no purpose and meaning in what I was doing. And I wanted to do something with more meaning. And a couple of things in my life happened to me that kind of changed my trajectory of wanting to be in health and wellness. And so, unfortunately, my grandparents and both my mom and dad's side, they suffered with a lot of different issues, mainly heart attack, stroke, prediabetes, diabetes, cardiovascular diseases, double, triple bypass surgery. And unfortunately, some of them passed away, and that kind of changed my trajectory of what I thought was like really more important. Like health was definitely something that was on my mind. And even when I went to the doctor, I had pre-hypertension, and I said to myself, you know what? I do not want to repeat history. No. Essentially, we have the power to control how our genes express themselves. That's called epigenetics. And so that kind of led me on a trajectory to really learn more about health, learn how to cook. And every day I would think about what I want to do in my true career. And I don't want to be in this IT thing anymore. And so that kind of sprung to mind like, hey, I want to do something in health and wellness. And so I saved my money up and I quit my job. I went to holistic nutrition and culinary arts school, then functional nutrition school, did some sales and marketing training. And all through that process of re-educating myself and taking a risk of changing my career, I was trying to figure out what niche I wanted to get into in health and wellness. And so I was a therapeutic personal chef. I cooked for people based on their health conditions, mainly focusing on people with metabolic issues like heart attack, stroke, prediabetes, diabetes, hypertension, because that's something that, my relatives had dealt with, and I didn't want to see other people have to go through that. So now I felt that I was actually contributing to the health of society in a way that meant a lot to me. And so that really meant a lot. And, the thing is, I actually fell in love with not just helping other people, but actually, I like the sales process a lot. I like getting to know people, understanding their goals and their challenges and seeing how I could support them. And if I could support them, I'd be like, hey, we could make this happen. I could cook and or do coaching for you. And if I couldn't help them, then I would reach out to my network of other trusted practitioners to make sure that they were taken care of. All that mattered to me was that anybody that interacted with me, I wanted to make sure that they were fully taken care of. Whether it was with me or somebody else was irrelevant. Either way, if I was referring them out, I was contributing to somebody else's success as well, and to their health as well. So, that kind of led me on a trajectory to do more sales and business development. And I really like communicating and talking to people, as obviously I'm talking like really fast because I'm so excited about sharing the information in a small amount of time.
No, it's all good. I know. I wish we had more time because we're going to be going through a lot today for sure. But it's an incredible story, Brandon, and especially so when it means something so close to home for you, right, with your family. I mean, you were directly affected by folks who had, obviously some very unfortunate health situations, and now you being able to take the knowledge that you have and the network that you have. I mean, for those watching don't know, Brandon has a crazy big network, so he's able to get folks in front of the right people and help them and serve at the highest level because of that. So, Brandon, what I want to touch on a little bit is you mentioned your background with nutrition and all these sorts of things. And I know you kind of have now with the LabSmarts stuff. Can we touch on LabSmarts a little bit, what that is and how it can help people? Because I know we want to marry up those two subjects later here in the episode.
Yeah, so I'll give you just a very quick story on how I found LabSmarts. Yeah. I actually found LabSmarts through networking because I was trying to figure out, I really like sales and business development. So let's do some networking with other practitioners and see if there's a need for my skill. Yep. And I ran into the founder of a health technology company, and the goal was just to get to know each other, to see how we could support each other. But little did I know that I wanted to work with this lady.
Right,
So
right.
I basically, in our second meeting, I asked her, "Hey, Marianne, I really love what you're doing." And the reason why I love what she was doing is her company, LabSmarts, was providing blood work interpretation software that helps practitioners be more effective and efficient at analyzing blood test results for the main goal of improving client health outcomes. But it wasn't just that. The fact that her solution was more personalized, she was basically catering to practitioners who have a preventative and personalized healthcare philosophy. And it fully aligned with what we're doing because our solution, our software solution, was actually taking into consideration their clients' unique characteristics like age, gender, ethnicity, pregnancy by trimester, menopausal status, elevation in which we live in, and many other factors that more accurately interpret blood test results compared to conventional medicine. And that's what I really liked. It was very personalized, and she was catering towards a target market whose values fully align with mine. I believe in preventative, proactive, and personalized healthcare, and the market that I would work with believes in that same thing too. So it's easy to have a conversation with people that are already morally or health aligned with one another or whatnot. And so here's the thing too, like I as I was talking to Marianne, I realized that in conventional medicine, when you get your blood work done in conventional medicine and they interpret for you, they're basically comparing you relative to a sample population. Unfortunately, that sample population doesn't represent you in the stage of life you're in, nor does it represent your unique characteristics, therefore not making it a true interpretation of your health status. And that's why I really like what Marianne was doing at LabSmarts. And I asked her, "Hey, Marianne, I love what you're doing. Is there any way I could do sales and business development for you?" And she says, "You know, Brandon, I wear a lot of hats in my company. I need somebody to alleviate some of the work that I do, and I'd love to figure out how we could work together." Been with her for almost a year, and as you can see, I'm growing, and I can't wait to do my job every day. It's just a part of who I am and what I do. Like, I'm glad I could get compensated for what I do, but I would literally do this for free because I'm contributing to a cause that really means a lot to me. I'm helping practitioners do their job better so that they can improve their client health outcomes, and that alone just means a lot.
Yeah, it's amazing. And to peek behind the curtain of Coach Joe a little bit, blood work was something that changed my life. Getting that done a little over 7 years ago, I had some issues with my thyroid, some other things going on. And for those watching, I mean, you can't, and Brandon, you know this, you can't just feel that stuff out. You don't wake up one morning and go, I think my thyroid's, not going so well. Like, you need to go get these things tested. And to your point, especially with LabSmarts, being able to interpret that data in the context of who you are is critical versus what the average is, right? Everybody's different, and that saying exists for a reason. And once I got myself on the right track, I was on a good health plan beyond that. I mean, the quality of life difference was insane. Like, I would never go back to how I felt before that. And I would attribute, how I feel now and my, I guess you'd call it health success, if you will, to making sure I'm checking that data consistently, at least a couple times a year, and staying on top of it. So can we maybe jump into that a little bit, Brandon, from your expertise and what working with LabSmarts and just your passion for the topic. Let's talk a little bit about how this stuff affects health outcomes. I know sleep is a big one, right? And so being able to get optimal sleep can help with hormone production and things like that. Can we talk about that just a little bit? I know we've mentioned it before.
Yeah, the sleep thing. So, one of the reasons why I love what I do is because I get to connect with all different types of practitioners in different modalities that are in my network, and I'm constantly picking their brains and adding that knowledge to my tool belt so I could, achieve optimal wellness and optimal health for myself,
Right.
So in a way, I'm benefiting myself, but I'm benefiting LabSmarts too. It's all, hey, we're all winning,
Yep.
So one of the things that, you talked about sleep, sleep is probably one of the later things that I implemented into my lifestyle to achieve, continual optimal wellness or whatnot. And so what changed my thought on sleep is I actually saw a TEDx by a gentleman named Sachin Panda. He really focused on the health benefits of sleep, and it just that 10-minute TED talk changed my whole trajectory of really making sure that I prioritize my sleep. Because before that, I was going to bed consistently anywhere between 2 and 5 in the morning.
Oh my God.
I didn't realize how bad it was.
Right.
And so just watching that webinar, that TEDx, and then I actually read his book called The Circadian Code.
Right.
and that changed my whole sleeping pattern. I was making sure I was very consistent. I went to going to bed anywhere between 3 a.m. to, it took some time, but I eventually started going to bed anywhere between 9:45 and 10:30 consistently.
Right.
And naturally waking up anywhere between 4:30, 5 o'clock, waking up, making my bed, going to work out outside. Probably one of the few people that are outside, but I like the silence. It was kind of nice.
Right.
And then coming back, putting on my cup of tea, and just like getting ready for the day and being very energized. And there are a lot of people out there, if they're not getting consistent sleep, like your hormones become imbalanced. And a couple of them that are related to food and food cravings is ghrelin and leptin. So ghrelin is like the hunger hormone, and leptin is a satiation hormone. So when you're constantly not getting the right amount of sleep per day, and a lot of people, unfortunately in America, they wear it like a badge of courage, like, I only got 3 hours of sleep, but then I'm still productive. But it's in the long run, it's not going to help you.
No.
So when you're consistently not getting the right amount of sleep, for example, ghrelin will increase, meaning your hunger hormone is going to increase, and you're going to be constantly hungry, constantly having cravings, and your leptin will decrease. Leptin is what keeps you satiated. It sends messages to your brain that you're full. But because leptin is low, you're not going to get the message that you're full, so you're going to continue to eat more than usual. And this happens when you're consistently not getting enough sleep. Right. So that's why I put that high on my pedestal when it comes to health and wellness or whatnot. And I've noticed a difference. I've been doing it for, I guess I want to say 10 or 11 months. And I've noticed a difference in terms of my performance, being sharp in mind, being sharp in body, and just being able to do really good business and creating really good connections with people, and being able to listen, where there's listening to be done, so I could support people in their business. Because the goal for me, being the healthiest version of myself, is because I need to take care of myself before I'm able to take care of other people, whether it's family, whether it's friends, whether it's my business associates, so I could properly help them the right way. So I want to be the most functional person I could be in every facet of relationships, business, family, and friends,
Yeah, I love that. And to your point, right? So I actually implemented a sleep protocol a while back, and just for context, like for numbers. So me, I compete in strongman. That's like my sport that I do. And so in 6 months' time, I changed nothing but my sleep. Food was the same, training was the same. I went from a 500-pound deadlift to a 625-pound deadlift in 6 months.
Believe it.
Just from that, addition of going to bed a little earlier, not waking up to like a really loud, chaotic alarm, so a little more calming, like taking my time and easing into it. And I mean, the payoff was insane. And it's once you kind of take that step, I'm sure you'd agree, you can't backtrack. Once you've experienced how good it feels, you can't take a step back. So with clients, I end up a lot of times just going with, we start off talking about, hey, when was the last time you got your blood work done? Hey, what does your sleep look like right now? And how can we begin to check those things and optimize, obviously under medical supervision, but we want to make sure we optimize those things, because you can follow the best diet in the world, you can do the best training program, you can do all the affirmations you want, but if those two fundamental pieces are not there, you are literally climbing an uphill battle. I mean, I'm sure you'd agree with that.
Exactly. Yeah, and making sure that before you go to sleep, you're not eating, because when you do eat less than 2 hours before going to sleep, when you go to sleep, your body is not going to expend its energy restoring itself. It's going to expend all its energy digesting food. Right. So therefore, when you wake up the next day, you're not going to be as energized, because your body didn't have enough time to actually do all the restoration, because it was spending all its time digesting, and digestion is a highest stress that's going on within your body when you're, it doesn't matter where you're at, but digestion takes up a lot of energy.
Exactly.
And because of that, you're not going to get the restorative effects of sleep if you're eating right before going to sleep. So, I mean, these little things make such a big difference, as noted with sleep. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And so, speaking of digestion, I want to get to the nutrition piece. I know you have extensive experience with that. We're going to take a quick break from our sponsors, but when we get back, we're going to continue our conversation with Brandon. Hey, it's Coach Joe here, and I want to thank you for checking out this episode of Real Results. Since becoming a coach over a decade ago and getting to help tons of people make incredible transformations, I've made it my mission to find the most effective tools to help people change their health and ultimately their life. As a thank you for watching this episode, I've created a series of free mini courses, downloads, and resources that you can use to create real change in your life. Simply click the link in the description or head over to www.resultswithjoe.com and click on the free resources tab. All you have to do is sign up using your best email address, and you'll have access to all the resources straight away so you can start to create real change in your life. I look forward to seeing you on the inside, and let's enjoy the rest of this episode. Welcome back to Real Results. If you're tuning back in, you are in luck because Brandon is here with us today, and we are going to get back into the topic of nutrition. So Brandon, you had mentioned earlier in your travels in the healthcare wellness space, you were actually doing like private cooking for people and helping them to optimize their health that way. Can you just kind of maybe retouch on that a little bit, expand on what you were doing for them?
Yeah, so for the schooling, I went to a college that was I was a natural chef. It was a specific specialty to basically be able to cook for people based on their health conditions. And so, yeah, so in terms of what I did, I really took on clients that had metabolic issues because that was my focus. And, I would come up with a personalized, I guess, meal plan for them based on getting to know them, their questions, what their likes are, if they have any food allergies or sensitivities or whatnot, then coming up with, meal plans that were conducive to their preferences or whatnot, and also too conducive to building a better health or whatnot. So yeah.
Yeah, that's incredible. So can we talk about a little bit, maybe just from like the typical Western diet today, right? Where you're seeing, fast food, things everywhere. Maybe somebody who's watching this says, hey, I do want to be better about my nutrition, but I feel like I need to kind of get the junk out, right? Is there anything, in your travels or you recommend worked well just for people to kind of like hit the restart button, detox, cleanse, whatever buzzword you want to use, just to kind of help them kind of start from square one?
Yeah, the hardest, I noticed just through my experience, the hardest part of making those changes is a lot of those people that are going through that, they think cooking is really hard and they're not really familiar with it. The best thing you could do for yourself is learn the basics of cooking. And once have that foundational basis, it's really easy, actually.
Yeah.
It's very easy. So like the advice I could give to somebody who really wants to make that change and wants to get off, going to the restaurant and going to, the fast food joints is, here's the thing, is to learn the basics of cooking. I don't know, take a public cooking class where you can meet other people, and that's community, because community involvement is actually contributing to your health and wellness or whatnot. Now, if you're with people and making food together, it's even better. And that's what we did. The schooling I was going to, like, we would all make our therapeutic foods. We would come together, we'd analyze our food, the reason why it was healthy, but we're coming together as a community and sampling each other's food. It was a great experience nonetheless. But like, if you could find like a partner or find a group of people that are trying to cook healthier so you can learn the basics of the cooking, and at the same time develop good relationships with people that are trying to do the same thing as you are, you have a community of support. So that would be my first like piece of advice or whatnot. And if I was near you, I'd show you how to cook too. It's very simple, just to learn the very basics of whatnot, of cooking. And here's the thing, at a lot of restaurants and the fast food joints, they're using, unfortunately, bad quality oils, usually soy, canola, vegetable oil. Those are all bad oils that are contributing to the deterioration of your metabolic health, contributing to heart attack, hypertension, prediabetes, diabetes, all those different things or whatnot. So that's why I hardly ever go out to eat, because I like making my own food, knowing exactly what I put in it. And that's the best thing that you could do for yourself, is to make homemade meals, or go to family members' places who make those homemade meals as well. It's better than going to any restaurant or whatnot. And if I do, I'm always asking, what kind of oil do you use? Are you? I'm happy if you're using avocado, coconut, olive oil. But a lot of times, a lot of restaurants are using the cheaper oils, because I get it. They're trying to make a profit, and sometimes they have to cut costs to make that profit. And there are a minority of restaurants that, they go all out, except you just got to pay for it.
For sure. And so what's funny is you reminded me that when I got out of college, even through college, I grew up in a household, like both my parents are phenomenal cooks, and they're fantastic. I didn't get this big, not eating, that's for sure. But when I got out of school, I'm like, all right, I have to kind of cook for myself more, and I wasn't really excited about it, right? Like I would buy prepared food from the grocery store, I would go out to eat, and as everybody I'm sure watching knows, it gets expensive, especially when you're a young guy just kind of starting your career and whatnot. And it wasn't until I moved into a house with two guys, I was roommates with these two guys, and one of them was a big foodie, like just loved to cook. and he just like brought me under his wing, and he was like, hey, I'm making this. It was like a menu he was reading off. I'm making all this for dinner. He's like, I need you to chop this, cut that, whatever. And we just had a blast. And I learned so much from him just through not to quote the book, but the joy of cooking, right? We were just hanging out, having a good time. And over the course of about 2 years when we lived together, I learned so much that now I love cooking and I love hosting and, like you said, building community, bringing people over. And I'm sure in a lot of households, as was the situation in mine, kind of showing love is through food, right? And so it's really become like a staple. Like in our house, we have a rule where we call it fun dinner, but we eat out maybe once a week. The rest of the week, everything's cooked at home, as fresh as we can. Obviously, we meal prep and things, but we try to make it as fresh as possible, make sure we sit down as a family and eat together every night. And it's really something that we want to make sure we continue for many years to come. But to your point is, if you're somebody watching this and you hear Brandon say, maybe even counterintuitively, it's not, hey, do this diet or eat this certain way. It's just learn how to cook. Have that skill to take care of yourself. If you can make it fun, just like anything else, if you can make a workout fun, right, or whatever, you are much more likely to stick with it than if you're trying to just, drag yourself by your belt loops into learning this whole thing. So I think that was
find somebody, one of your friends in your social network that like cooking, and be like, hey, could I help prep for you? Because the hardest part and the thing that takes the longest is prepping all the vegetables and the sauces or whatever. But then the actual cooking process is very quick or whatnot. So when I was going to culinary school, my sister, she actually worked with a personal chef, and I got to work with her under her. And it was actually really fun. She would show me what to do, tell me what to do, and I'd do it. And we became really good friends or whatnot. And she always like, Brandon, do you have time to do some prep for me? I'm like, yeah, let's do this or whatnot. So if you know anybody that likes cooking, I would offer them, hey, could I help cut stuff up for you and prep stuff up for you? And they would gladly like it, because that takes the longest part of cooking, is all the preparation.
For sure. And you're building your skills.
At the same time, you'll be learning and developing a relationship with them even better. You're stronger.
Exactly. You win in multiple ways, for sure. So cooking is probably like the one fundamental thing, at least when it comes to nutrition, right? Let's get that skill under our belts. Like you said, it doesn't take much. You could do a local cooking class. I mean, heck, you could even watch YouTube. There's so many ways, so many avenues to do this.
There's so many different chefs out there creating healthy and tasty meals or whatnot.
Absolutely. So you were saying you're on your journey of kind of becoming the best version of you, right? Because that's going to trickle down to the people around you, your network, your clients, and so forth. So can we pull the curtain back on Brandon's life a little bit? What else are you doing currently to help to optimize your health that we could share with the viewers today?
Yeah, so to optimize my health, obviously the sleep was a foundational factor for sure. I could tell. So it's kind of related to food, but really developing just a consistent routine is very important. So for myself, everybody is very busy with work. During the week, it's kind of hard. So, some people don't have enough time to cook, obviously, and sometimes they reach for the convenient foods, whether it's fast food or a restaurant or whatever the case may be.
Right.
So one of the things I do to create that routine is every Sunday morning, I go to my local farmer's market. I pick up whatever vegetables and produce I need, whatever I can get. I go to the market, get all my ingredients, and then for 3 to 4 hours, I just turn up the music, listen to podcasts or music, and just cook up a storm.
Love it.
And it's very therapeutic and fun to me, because I know that during the work week, I do not have to prepare any types of meals, and I won't pull any unhealthy options, because I have all my healthy options that are already cooked for me on that Sunday, and I know I'm contributing to my health and wellness, and it's really motivating to know that I don't have to reach for anything unhealthy during the week, because even though I'm busy, I don't have that built-in excuse, you know what, I'm going to go to a fast food restaurant because I don't have time. Right. Now I'm planning that out, having a meal planned out for you for the week and having it already done is so important. And just in general, just having a good routine to get ready for the work week, because we get so busy or whatnot,
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's most people might hear that and they kind of get overwhelmed by the idea of I have to prep all my meals for the week. There's a good friend of mine, Mike, that we kind of talk almost weekly about stuff. And one of the things we brought up the other day was look, you don't have to prep 21 meals for the whole week. You can just start with one meal that you tend to have trouble with. So if maybe dinner is the one on the ride home, you stop at Wendy's a lot, like let's cut that out, right? And let's start prepping food just for that one meal. And once you have that locked down, then we can add on, right? So it's a lot less overwhelming. You can just prep for even half the week. You could do Monday through Wednesday. So there's 3 dinners, and then you're there, you're good to go. And bonus, if you make a little bit extra for dinner, you can pack it up and have for lunch the next day. So there's all kinds of little tips and tricks and things. But I think having really the fundamentals of what you're saying, and I totally agree, is you have to have a plan. You have to have some sort of plan. You can tweak it later, that's totally fine, but you need to start somewhere, right? And so I guess because we're kind of coming up to the end of our time, so I want to make sure we cram in as much as possible. So we've covered sleep, we covered blood work.
So much to talk about, but this is great.
I know. We covered nutrition. Like last little bit, let's say like exercise and movement. How do you get that incorporated into your day, into your week?
Yeah. So here's the thing. I never thought I would be a person that works out in the morning. So I always would do it after work.
Right.
But for the past, I guess, year or so, I've been doing the early. As soon as I wake up in the morning, I just go work out.
Love it.
Essentially, in terms of the things that I do a lot of what is it called? I guess it's called HIIT training.
Yeah.
But I take it to another level because it was very hard. My dad actually played football, and so he showed me a certain type of workout where if you're strapped for time, then this is really good to do. And so essentially I set my alarm to 21 minutes and like 48 seconds exactly. And what I do is I go through like I don't know how I explain it. A circuit. I do like circuit training. Yep. So basically I'll do like, overhead press or whatnot for 45 seconds straight with no resting.
Yep.
And then when the alarm goes off, it's a rest for 25 seconds. But for that 25 seconds, I'm just holding it. Wow. And then I go on to the next exercise. So I do that over and over. There's no rest for 21 minutes and 48 seconds or whatever the case may be. That was really hard for like the first 3 or 4 days, but the next week I kind of got used to it.
And you build up
to it. I'm adding different types of exercises to work it out. I don't expect anybody to do that, but I like challenging myself.
Yeah, no, but
so there's absolutely no rest, and when there's rest, it's me holding the position.
Right. It's almost like yoga and weightlifting combined, which is incredible. So Brandon,
it is actually. You're right.
I know
yoga and weightlifting combined, and also too, I like running, obviously. Yeah. And I grew up playing sports, so I played baseball, boxing, and track and field. So I like running. I still like boxing. But for the most part, the consistent thing is the running and the circuit training, because I don't want to do always all running. Like I want to get some weightlifting in, because as we get older, we lose our muscle mass for sure. So I definitely want to keep my bones and my muscles strong as I age.
Awesome. Well, Brandon, we're coming to the end of our time. Where can folks find you if they want to get a hold of you or learn more about LabSmarts?
Yeah, they could actually just go to it's more my blog than anything else, but healthyDataGuide.com. So it's called Healthy Data Guide because I believe in using data to make informed health decisions, and it's fully aligned with what LabSmarts is all about. And I actually came up with that moniker before I even started working with LabSmarts, but it just happens that our values are fully aligned in what the name is and what LabSmarts does. So it's kind of awesome.
Awesome. Fantastic. Well, Brandon, thank you for coming on the show. Always a pleasure to chat with you, and I'm so excited that we get to share this with all the viewers. So thank you all for watching, and we'll see you on the next episode of Real Results.